Caitlyn Clark just sent a chilling, calculated message straight through the cameras and right into the front office of the Indiana Fever. And the craziest part is that 99% of the people watching completely missed it. Everybody is looking at the smiles. Everybody is looking at the shiny new jerseys, the hype videos, and the polished press conference answers. But if you actually listen to what is being said, and more importantly, what is not being said, you will realize that there is a massive, fundamental fracture growing right in the heart of this team. People are calling the critics crazy. People are saying the fans just need to calm down and trust the process. But the people calling her a complainer or saying that the fans are overreacting are completely missing the point. We are not talking about a little locker room disagreement here. We are talking about a fundamental, deep-rooted philosophical basketball war that could absolutely ruin a generational run before it even truly begins. If you stick with me until the end of this breakdown, you are going to find out exactly why the media narrative surrounding the Indiana Fever right now is built on a very fragile half-truth. You are going to see the exact tactical double standard that is driving the fan base absolutely insane. And most importantly, you are going to find out the real reason why this off-ball experiment they are forcing onto number 22 is not just a bad basketball decision, but a ticking time bomb that could literally alter the future of women's sports. Because what happens to her right now in this specific system under this specific coach is so much bigger than just putting a ball through a hoop. Now look, before we get deep into the weeds of the film and the analytics I have to make something crystal clear, everything we are talking about today is pulled straight from public press conferences, verified media reports, and hours upon hours of grinding the tape. We are not here to play favorites. We do not work for the team, we do not work for the league, and we sure do not work for the PR department. We are just here to look at the cold, hard reality of what the tape shows and what the numbers prove, because the numbers do not lie even when the press releases do. Let us set the scene. Imagine the atmosphere at Media Day. It is a circus. The flashes are going off, the reporters are packed in shoulder to shoulder, and the air is just thick with that manufactured preseason optimism. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It is that time of year when every single player is supposedly in the best shape of their life, every locker room is a family, and every coach has a flawless master plan. The Indiana Fever set up this beautiful facade. You have a veteran like Myisha Hines-Allen sitting up there beaming, telling the cameras that the entire reason she wanted to come to Indiana was for the chance to share the floor with Caitlyn. That is great PR. That is exactly what you want on the evening news. And then you have Caitlyn herself sitting at the podium playing the game perfectly. She is a master at this. She talks about how retaining Kelsey Mitchell was the absolute top priority. She smiles, she praises her teammates. She talks about the incredible chemistry they are building. If you just watch that 30-second clip on social media, you would think everything in Indianapolis is sunshine and rainbows. But you have to look closer. You have to peel back that shiny PR veneer because beneath all those media-trained answers, there is a very different reality being constructed by the coaching staff. And it all revolves around one specific, highly controversial word that keeps getting thrown around. Off-ball. Why in the world is a coaching staff taking the single greatest visionary passer we have seen in a decade and suddenly obsessing over getting her to play off the ball? This is where the double standard begins to rear its ugly head, and this is what has the real basketball minds pulling their hair out. Let us talk about Kelsey Mitchell for a second. Mitchell is phenomenal. Nobody is debating that. She is an absolute blur on the hardwood. When she gets the rock, it is like watching pure kinetic energy. Coach Stephanie White knows this, and she stood up in front of all those reporters and loudly, proudly declared that Mitchell is the fastest, most terrifying one-on-one matchup in the entire league. White made it abundantly clear that the absolute priority of her offensive system is to put Kelsey Mitchell in a position to, quote, do what she does best, without having to think. Think about that phrasing. Without having to think. It is a green light. It is absolute freedom. Mitchell herself sat there and happily confirmed it, saying that this new system allows her to just play free. She gets to operate on instinct. She gets to be the explosive scorer she was born to be. That sounds great, right? That sounds like a coach empowering a star player. But then the topic shifted to Caitlyn, the player who literally broke the geometry of the basketball court last season. The player who sees passing lanes that do not even exist until she forces the ball through them. When the coaching staff talks about number 22, the vocabulary completely changes. Suddenly, you do not hear words like freedom. You do not hear phrases like playing without thinking. Suddenly, the words become very rigid. It is all about the system. It is all about structure. It is all about fitting into the framework that the coaching staff has drawn up on their whiteboard. And the buzzword they keep hammering home is off-ball. They want to initiate the offense through other players, run Caitlyn through a maze of staggered screens, and have her operate as a catch-and-shoot threat. Now let us be fair and look at the coach's perspective for a moment, because it is crucial to understand both sides of this chess match. Stephanie White is not completely crazy for wanting to buy her star point guard a few possessions of rest. If you actually watch the tape of a full game, what Caitlyn goes through is brutal. It is physically exhausting. She has to catch the inbound pass, turn around, and immediately stare down a defender pressing her for 94 straight feet. She gets bumped, she gets grabbed, she gets hit with hard screens before she even crosses half court. Bringing the ball up the floor against professional elite defenders who wake up every morning with the sole goal of making her life miserable takes a massive toll on the legs. It drains the battery. So in a vacuum, the idea of letting someone else walk the dog and bring the ball across the timeline makes a bit of sense. You want her legs fresh for the fourth quarter. We get that. And let us not disrespect Kelsey Mitchell. She is an elite bucket-getting machine. You need players who can go get a bucket when the shot clock is winding down and the play breaks down. But basketball is not played in a vacuum. It is a game of rhythm, momentum, and optimizing your absolute best assets. The problem is not necessarily asking Caitlyn to play a little bit of off-ball. The problem is the ratio. The problem is taking the steering wheel away from the best driver in the race. When you force a basketball genius to stand in the corner and wait for the offense to come to her, you are not maximizing your team. You are neutralizing your own greatest weapon. You are doing the opponent's job for them. And this is exactly where Caitlyn delivered her masterclass. This is the moment from Media Day that should have sent shockwaves through the entire organization, but most casual viewers just let it slip right by. A reporter finally asked her the tough question. They asked her directly about this whole off-ball strategy, about the coach wanting to take the ball out of her hands to initiate the offense. You have to watch her face in this exact moment. You have to watch the subtle shift in her posture. She does not throw a tantrum. She does not throw her coach under the bus. She has way too much media savvy for that. She starts by conceding a little ground. She admits that yes, not having to fight through a full court press for 94 feet on every single possession is nice. It gives her a chance to catch her breath. It is the perfect, polite team first answer. But then she pauses. She looks dead ahead, and she drops the hammer. She says in a tone that leaves absolutely zero room for interpretation, "I think I am the best transition player in the league." Stop right there. I want you to really process what she just said. That is not a throwaway comment. That is not an athlete just hyping herself up for the cameras. That is a highly calculated sniper precision strike directly at the core of the coaching staff's philosophy. I think I am the best transition player in the league. Think about what transition basketball actually is. It happens in the blink of an eye. The ball comes off the rim, a rebound is grabbed, and in that split second, the defense is scrambling. They are disorganized. They are vulnerable. That chaos is where Caitlyn thrives. That is her domain. When she says she is the best in the league in transition, she is sending a very loud, very clear message to the front office. She is telling them that when that ball comes off the glass, it needs to find her hands immediately. Not Kelsey Mitchell's hands, not a forward's hands, her hands. Because if anyone else is pushing the pace, they are wasting an opportunity. She is reminding them that her vision in the open floor, her ability to throw a 50-foot absolute laser beam on a dead sprint, is a weapon that nobody else on the planet possesses. She is politely but firmly drawing a line in the sand. She is saying, you can run your half-court sets, you can draw up your little off-ball screens, but when we have the chance to run, do not you dare take the ball out of my hands. It was a beautiful, terrifying display of basketball intelligence and political leverage. And the fan base. The people who actually watch the games, who study the tape, who understand the nuances of the sport, they heard that message loud and clear, and they are absolutely livid. If you spend 5 minutes looking at the forums, the comment sections, the social media threads, the anger is palpable. And it is not just blind fanboy rage. It is rooted in very real basketball logic. You have thousands of people screaming at their screens, asking how a professional coaching staff can be so blind. The phrase clueless management is being thrown around constantly. There are already pockets of the fan base demanding that the coach be fired before the mid-season break if this system does not change. They are watching a team try to force a square peg into a round hole, and it is driving them crazy. The fans see the reality that the coaching staff seems determined to ignore. Yes, you have other talented players, but number 22 is not just a player. She is a system unto herself. She is the coach on the floor. When she has the ball at the top of the key, she dictates the entire flow of the game. She manipulates defenders with her eyes. She forces rotations just by taking a step to the left. The fans understand that taking the ball away from the ultimate decision-maker to run a rigid, predictable set play is a massive step backwards. But the anger from the fans is just the surface-level problem. There is a much darker, much more dangerous cloud hanging over the Indiana Fever right now, and it is the exact reason why this tactical stubbornness is so reckless. It all comes down to the calendar. 2027. It seems like it is a long way off. In the sports world, 3 years can feel like a lifetime. But trust me, the clock is already ticking and the alarm is getting louder. 2027 is when her rookie contract expires. Now put yourself in her shoes. You are a generational talent. You single-handedly shifted the economic reality of the entire league. Viewership is up over 260%. The arenas are sold out. You are doing everything asked of you, but every time you step on the court, you feel like you are fighting your own system as much as you are fighting the opponent. You are being told to stand in the corner while someone else runs the show, despite the fact that you know deep down in your bones that you are the best floor general alive. How long are you going to tolerate that? Professional athletes at this elite level are wired differently. They are obsessed with optimization. They are obsessed with winning, yes, but they are also obsessed with reaching their absolute maximum potential. If a system is consistently artificially capping, that potential resentment begins to build. It starts small. A frustrated sigh during a timeout, a subtle eye roll after a broken play. But over time, that frustration acts like acid. It eats away at the loyalty. It eats away at the trust. If the Indiana Fever front office thinks they can just ride out this storm, if they think she will just blindly accept this off-ball role because she is a nice person who gives good media answers, they are playing a profoundly dangerous game of Russian roulette with the most valuable asset in the history of the franchise. They are testing her patience. And in the modern sports landscape, player empowerment is king. Stars do not stay in bad situations anymore. They do not suffer in silence for the sake of loyalty. If she feels like her prime years are being wasted in a system that refuses to understand her genius, she will pack her bags. And there will be 11 other franchises willing to fire their entire coaching staff, clear their entire salary cap, and hand her the keys to the city just to get her to sign on the dotted line. The Indiana Fever are not just coaching for this season. They are coaching to prove to her that they are worthy of keeping her. And right now, they are failing that test miserably. But when you really take a step back and look at the sheer magnitude of this situation, it stops being just a story about basketball strategy. It becomes something that resonates with almost everybody, whether you have ever picked up a basketball in your life or not. Because ultimately, this is a story about what happens when exceptional talent crashes headfirst into rigid, outdated systems. Think about your own life. Think about your workplace, your career, your passions. Have you ever felt like you knew exactly what needed to be done? You had the vision, you had the skills, but you were forced to operate within a set of rules created by people who simply did not understand the assignment. That is the universal frustration. That is why so many people are emotionally invested in watching this play out. We are watching someone with a completely revolutionary way of seeing the world being told to sit down, fit in, and do it the way it has always been done. When a system seems entirely designed to slow you down, to put a ceiling on your capabilities, how do you react? A lot of people would break. A lot of people would throw a fit, demand a trade, or just check out mentally and go through the motions. But that is where the blueprint of true greatness is revealed. Real champions, the ones who leave a legacy, do not respond to pressure by breaking. They respond by adapting and overwhelming the system. She walked into a professional environment that was frankly completely unprepared for the reality of what she brings to the table. She has been hit with expectations that are so heavy they would crush an ordinary person. She is dealing with defensive schemes that border on physical assault, and she is dealing with internal offensive philosophies that feel like trying to run a marathon in quicksand. Yet she shows up. Every single night, she takes the hits, she runs the off-ball screens, she does the dirty work. But she also knows her worth. She does not let the system convince her that she is anything less than what she is. When the microphone was put in her face, she politely acknowledged the coach's perspective, but she firmly anchored her own reality. I am the best. That is the lesson. You can be a team player, you can operate within the boundaries of your environment, but you must never let a flawed system dictate your own belief in your value. You have to find your spots. You have to wait for that rebound, demand the ball, and prove undeniably that your way works. She is not silencing the critics or the doubters with angry tweets or dramatic press conferences. She is silencing them by letting the results speak for themselves. She is choosing to be great despite the constraints, and that is a mindset that every single one of us can take into our daily battles. So here is where I turn it over to you, the real fans, the ones who actually understand the game within the game. I need to know where you stand on this. If you have ever jumped off your couch spilling your drink because you just witnessed Caitlyn throw a full-court dime that nobody else in the building even saw coming, I want you to go down into the comments right now and drop a basketball emoji. Let us get a visual representation of how many people are actually recognizing what we are witnessing. Let us show them the army that is watching this unfold. But I also want your honest, unfiltered take on the tactical side of this drama. Do you think this coaching staff is treating her fairly? Do you think forcing her off the ball is a necessary growing pain for a young team? Or do you think it is a fireable offense that is squandering a generational window? Get down in the comments and let your voice be heard. We read every single one of them. We do not hide comments. We do not delete dissenting opinions. We want the debate. Because the mainstream networks are going to keep pushing the happy PR narratives, and the only way the real story breaks through is if the community demands it. Every single comment, every single like pushes this breakdown further into the algorithm and forces the broader sports world to actually look at the tape instead of just reading the headlines. So, if you believe the truth about this team matters, make some noise down there right now. And look, now you understand the psychological warfare and the tactical stubbornness going on behind the scenes with the Indiana Fever. You know the narrative they are trying to sell, and you know the reality of what is actually happening on the floor. But words can only paint so much of the picture. If you want to see the undeniable, indisputable proof of exactly why taking the ball out of her hands is a crime against basketball, you need to see the film. I just finished putting together a comprehensive frame-by-frame breakdown of 5 specific transition plays that absolutely prove her claim of being the best in the world when the game speeds up. We pause the tape, we look at the defensive rotations, and we expose exactly what the coaching staff is missing. You do not want to miss this deep dive. It is going to change the way you watch the next game. It is sitting right there on your screen right now. Click that video, grab your notebook, and I will see you in the film room.